From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. James, how are you today? I'm looking forward to a great conversation, and you and I get to talk about a topic that we are both identified as being very valuable.
Oh yeah, Steve, I'm doing good, and this topic I think it is going to be valuable and kind of timely. I know it's coming out later, but I think it's timely.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about on-prem versus cloud, and that's kind of a hairy topic and something that, will be open to debate probably endlessly. And there's always two sides to every coin and different arguments as to why one is needed or better than the other. But recently, and we're recording this in 2025, there are a few uh, big cloud services that experienced outages and impact some businesses. And they weren't necessarily limited to AV, but they did impact a lot of AV companies and end users within the AV world, of course. So, James, uh, give us a little bit of context as to why this is an important conversation to bring to the AV landscape.
This is an important conversation because we in the AV world, we focus on user experience. That is our goal. What is the best user experience we can give? So that takes a lot of planning, and in that planning, we have to decide, hey, are we going to host this service in on-prem or are we going to put it up in the cloud? And each have their pros and cons. And we know that, so, and it's what risk are you willing to take? And that's really what it comes down to. Does the cost benefit outweigh the risk that you're facing? I mean, like you mentioned just recently, we had two big outages in the cloud world, with one being AWS, and a lot of people use AWS. There are a lot of services on there. I was not aware of any AV services that was impacted by the AWS one, but there could have been. And then just recently as well, we had the Azure outage, and I do at least know at least one company who sent emails out saying, "Hey, our cloud platform is not working because of this outage." I will not name the company. And I have to say that was good on the company to send out, "Hey, our product is not working because of X, Y, and Z." That's what you do in IT. So no fault there, but it just reminds us, like, what risks are we willing to take to provide that customer experience that we're looking for?
Sure. And I think cloud is has to be part of a lot of strategies, and there are certain uh, secure situations where cloud is not an option, but it's not something that could easily be avoided, or maybe should be avoided because there are such tremendous benefits to them to using the cloud. If you wouldn't mind, talk a little bit about that. Like what, why why do we rely on the cloud so much?
So really, a lot of people use the cloud because it's, I want to put this on a positive spin, is it's someone else's problem. And I mean that in a good way. Like, if anyone, I don't know how many of our listeners actually have worked in the IT world, but there's this thing called server sprawl. I know I was very big into that because my old job was CC cameras, and as we added more network cameras and stuff, we had to add more recorders, and that added more hardware to racks, and we went from one rack, a 42U rack, to two, and then you keep building that power on. So now you've taken all of that overhead, all that management saying, and you're just giving it to somebody else. You're saying, you deal with this, give me my service, all the service I need, and you deal with all the overhead. So that's it's cheaper. 'Cause you don't have to run the power, you don't have to run the backup generators, you don't have to do any of that. You just are giving all that overhead to somebody else. Really, that what it comes down to the cloud. It's somebody else's computer. Um, that's what is really, I would say, the driving factor for a lot of the cloud things is we don't you can actually streamline your staff. You don't need a system admin on staff who are managing your servers, who are patching your servers, who are doing all the maintenance to the hardware and all that stuff because now that's someone else's problem. So that's really the benefit of the going to the cloud. You can scalability real easy. You don't have to, you just spin up a new instance and you're good to go. Pay the fee. You might have to bump up your agreement with that cloud provider, meaning either, hey, I'm on this tier now, I need to go to the next tier, more money. But again, it's not the overhead, the hardware, and the staffing that you need to have.
Yeah, it almost seems like it's an obvious choice because of that, because the responsibility is going to somebody else, and there's still the same risk that if you were to do something on-prem, it could go down, and all of the precautions and safety measures and procedures need to be put into place when you have something like that locally. So I could see where they the it seems like um, except for people, in certain circumstances where they can't allow things to go out, or they feel like they need that type of hands-on, the cloud makes a whole lot of sense.
It does. The issue runs into is especially in like my world, being a in-house integrator, being an on-site tech, when the cloud service is down, our users are looking at us to get
Mm,
something going. And we're like, not my problem. It's this company. I can't do anything about that company.
mhm.
And sometimes you have to prove it's that company. We had a situation maybe a year or two ago. Um, we again going with I don't want to say it was a cloud, but it was a cloud. It was an AV. Our medical students take exams a lot. I mean, a lot of times they're taking exams. They're high importance for them, high stress for the students. Well, we had all our equipment set up, all that stuff. Students are sitting down to about to take their exam, and exams are crashing. They're failing. Everyone's looking. We're scrambling. What's going on? We had determined. We did everything on our end, and it's like, okay, it has to be the exam site. It was an hour later after the exam, as we're doing everything we can try to get up, that they actually finally the exam site came out and said, "Yeah, we're having a problem nationwide." So that delay, it looked like we were having a problem, but it wasn't us. The comms and the communication was not as timely that we need to provide to our users because we didn't know what's going on. Like we can't get into those servers and say, "Oh, you're this is where the problem is." Like if you have an on-prem and the system goes down, I can easily go into the IDF and go, "Okay, that server's off," or "Hey, I see an error light on here. This is where the problem might be," and start tracing it from there. In a cloud, you can't. You're like, okay, it's either them or something on our end. We don't know until they come out with their communication saying, yes, we're having a problem. That might be 2 minutes after they realize they have a problem, or it could be an hour after they realize they have a problem. You have no control over it.
So it sounds to me like there's a big need to have some type of backup plan when you're investing in the cloud, whether that's some type of local redundancy, or that's um, a way of being able to get alerts and be able to have a little bit more information and understanding as to where the issue may lie. But again, once it's So once it's determined that it's in the cloud, there isn't a lot that you could do to fix it.
Yes, and I think going to your comment about backup, I think cloud or on-prem, you always need to have a backup plan. I mean, that's always going to be a case. But unfortunately, some of these things you can't have backup plans too, because they are a bottleneck. They are a, oh, you can only go for this system. Like going back to my example of the exam, you have to go for their exam route. There is no backup to it. There is no other route to go give them their exams. So that is a bottleneck. That is a point of failure. And I understand why. Like that is a limitation that you have to have for the education and the what's the word I'm looking for? The integrity of the exam. You can't just be routing elsewhere. Um, so I fully get that that's a risk we have to take in our world is okay, that service is down. You have to, just handle it. Um, but I think for like folks like me and other people, that drives us mad, I guess you can say, because when I can't solve the problem because I have no control over it, I feel like I'm just sitting on my thumbs. I need
Yeah.
to do something. I need to fix the problem. That's who I am. I'm somebody who I got to dive in, fix the problem. But I have no access. I have no control. I have no, all I can sit there and be like, I'm sorry, the service is down. It's not us. We prove it. Here's why it's not us. We can show you all this. It's just, I got no control over it. Our users don't care. They see us. They don't see the company. They see us.
So one of my questions was going to be from a leadership perspective, are those eh, is there backing there to say that that this is the route that we took, or this is the way we have to handle this, and these are the risks that we are going to face. And when there's an outage, there isn't a lot we could do, similar to if there was a power outage, although I guess you could go to a backup generator, but is leadership on board with things like that, and will they be supportive to say that the we've invested in the cloud for a reason, and unfortunately, these are some of those circumstances that um, we get burned.
I think it all depends on the leader,
Yeah.
and the leadership. There are some who they just need to point fingers at somebody. And when you put it in a cloud, they can't point fingers at a person. So now they go downhill. There are some leaders like that. There are some leadership like that. And then there's others who they realize, hey, we're doing everything we can to provide the best service to our customers. And they're the ones who are going to be like, okay, they might be upset at first. Hey, why did this go down? Dive into it. Oh, it's not us, it's somebody else. Cool. Now they start going after, like, they understand, okay, we did everything we can. It's now on them. They realize they might be frustrated, but I don't think they're like, okay, I need to point a finger at somebody. So it all depends on your leadership. And sadly, sometimes you don't find out until that happens.
Mm. That's tough. So as we wrap up, the what's the AV impact on cloud right now? Because we know about on-prem. We've been doing that for a long time. Um, and part of the cloud that we have to deal with is, and we've talked about this in past episodes, these are, we have software as a service, we have applications that uh, are running and updating, on their own, if you will. Many of them there aren't alternatives for. So, where do you think AV is heading in terms of having to deal with the cloud?
Upskilling. I've been saying this from day one with AB is we're IT. We got to understand IT. I know many AV folks are, dragging their feet. They don't want to talk the language. They don't want to understand what IT does. But now that the cloud out there, that is IT. It is information technology coming in. We have to come across the network. You have to understand all the policies. You have to understand the risk and have the plans in place. Um, and that's going to be hard for, you know, us AV folks, especially like, again, going to my world where, okay, we're dealing with classroom technology where things are physically there, but if part of your system relying on the cloud and that part's down, it's like, well, I'm still in the room. My students are still here. I need the tools to teach. I don't care that, Zoom is down or WebEx or whatever, throw anything here is I still need to be able to teach. So we got to give them that opportunity to use the tools that are there, and so we have to really understand that whole aspect of planning. And one thing I know IT does well, I don't think AV does well, is disaster recovery. And it's not only having the idea of what to do, it's actually running and testing and putting yourself through the steps to, okay, this is down, let's spin up this so that you build those muscles. And AV, I don't think does disaster recovery. If they do, I haven't heard of anyone really doing it.
Great insight. This is I think, a very informative episode, and thank you for all of that. I, I, uh, I think that this is very helpful for a lot of people. And to me, it sounds like like you said before, we need to be able we shouldn't assume that everything is going to work every day, and we need to be planning our systems to say we are going to rely on the cloud, but if the cloud isn't available, this is how we're going to handle it. And that I think that's a great solution and a good way of thinking about things. And there's going to be compromises, but it's something that it helps to avoid disaster, and it helps to avoid situations where there's finger pointing or people standing around saying, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and that's really what I would say is what you have to look at is don't go into the finger pointing mode, don't go into the standing around, what can I do? Yeah, you may finally reach that point where you can't do anything, but you have to know enough about your internal environment. And I mean, this is more than just AV. You have to understand your networking. You got to be able to talk to your administrator and be like, hey, I'm seeing no traffic coming in from our cloud provider. Can you check the firewalls? Is it a access control list issue? Is it a firewall issue? Is it something on our end? They need to be able to know what you're talking about so they can check their logs and say, yeah, it's external, or no, hey, it is something internal. We're blocking that because that does happen. Firewall security admins might be like, hey, like there's a vulnerability on now port, well, a famous port that AB likes to use, 80 or 8080. Oh, there's a vulnerability. We're just going to block all port 80 and 8080. Wait, now my cloud service is not working because our firewall team did a change. So you got to be able to have those conversation with other IT folks.
Thank you so much. This has been really helpful. I think our audience members will should have gotten a lot of value out of it, and I'm also curious to hear what their opinions are and if they have more insight and want to add to this conversation, because it's not something that is finite in any way, and it's an ongoing thing that is going to um, be part of our world moving forward for quite some time. James, how could people get in touch with you? How could they continue this conversation and learn more about what you're up to?
You can always Google me. You can find me. I'm out there on LinkedIn, on X as AV_James King, in the LinkedIn community as the programmer. Like I said, Google me, you'll find me.
Hmm. Fantastic. And for me, you can find me at Steve Greenblatt on social platforms. LinkedIn is the best place as well. and it seems like our the AV world is really congregating there, and a lot of good activity and good conversations. My company, Control Concepts, is a supporter of this podcast, and one of the things that we do is build some building blocks that either integrate with products or help add functionality to systems and give programmers the tools that they need to succeed. And you can find more about that at controlconcepts.net. Our podcast, if you are listening, is also available in a video format on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube watching, you can hear us in your favorite podcast player. Either way works. Just let us know you're out there, leave a rating review. And as James said, join us in the LinkedIn community for Ask the Programmer. We would really enjoy getting to know more of you and getting to hear more about your thoughts on these episodes, as well as anybody who is interested in either raising a topic or wants to be a guest, please reach out to us. So thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, this has been Ask the Programmer.